What's up, guys? Look, before I even start the video, I just want to say this. At the end of the day, it's your body. You get to decide what you put in. It is your choice. All right. You have free will. So do with that what you will. I just kind of want to go over some stuff, try to educate a little bit, and talk about some of the experiences that I've seen with this stuff. I've had a lot of people that I know have very successful stories, and I've had a lot of people who are not as successful with this, and they're not getting the quick results that they think that they would have. The topic for today is going to be peptides, and more specifically GLP-1 peptides such as semaglutide, tirzepatide, and retatrutide. I'm sure you've heard of these before. Maybe it's something that you've even taken, and I just kind of want to dive in and get a little bit more into the science behind these. These medications are designed for people with type 2 diabetes. And with type 2 diabetes, some people will die on the hill that there's no genetic component involved with this. I am going to have to disagree. I think that genetic predisposition to diabetes is real. However, I think that it's not as significant as some people would lead on. I think it's a lot more to do with external factors and environmental situations that can put you in a situation where you develop this disease. Your pancreas creates a hormone called insulin, and insulin's job is to shuttle sugar, glucose, to your cells to use for energy. And if you become insulin resistant, your cells are not going to be able to uptake this glucose and use it for energy. And that's going to result in lots of glucose, high glucose levels in your bloodstream. This can lead to so many other issues, from heart attacks, strokes, nerve damage. That's so bad you'll wake up in the hospital one day and they're sawing off your leg. It can really get this serious, guys. So we got to take action before this becomes an issue. If you're obese, chances are you're probably already pre-diabetic. It's time to start making some of the changes that I'm going to talk about in this video to kind of reverse this stuff before it becomes too late. Now, I'm not a fucking doctor, so I'm not going to dive too much into the mechanism of action when it comes to these peptides or medications. Just know that these are working from a bunch of different angles, and they've slowly been perfecting this formula. That's why all of these new drugs are, being regulated by the FDA and are being approved. But just know they're going to help regulate your blood sugar, and there is appetite suppressing effects as well. This really is one of the biggest medical breakthroughs that I think we'll ever see in our lifetime. And that brings me to this question. Are you a candidate to take GLP-1 medication? If you're diabetic, I absolutely would. I would hop on immediately. This stuff is going to change your life. I've seen it change so many people's lives. Between regulating your blood sugar and the suppression of appetite is going to help you lose body fat, specifically visceral fat around your organs in your midsection, which is one of the big causes of developing type 2 diabetes. It's going to help push all of that in the opposite direction and kind of get you to where you need to go. So if you do decide to go this route, odds are, if you're diabetic, you may have to be on this medication forever, but I wouldn't trip. Forever is it's not as long as you think it might be. And taking 5 minutes a week for a weekly injection in the grand scheme of things is nothing compared to the benefits you're going to get from this and the improvement in your health. Like I said, this is one of the biggest advancements in science. And if you look in the USA and even worldwide over the past couple of years since this stuff went mainstream, you'll see obesity rates are lower than they were before, which is amazing. Now, you may be thinking, okay, well, if I don't have diabetes, this sounds like it could help me. And while that is the case for some people, I want to kind of go over some of the things that I see from people who are not diabetic who decide to go this direction. Since this stuff became very popular, these private clinics are going to prey and bank on people wanting instant gratification and refusing to actually put in any work and look for the cheat code on losing body fat. They say, hey, I'll take an injection once a week and it'll get me to my dream physique. Why wouldn't I do that? So people are willing to pay a lot of money for this shit. And the ripple effect that that's caused has made it so that people who are actually diabetic are unfortunately not able to get this medication without paying tons and tons. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So before you go running to your doctor and try to get on this stuff, just really take a second to think about it, man. You're potentially robbing somebody who has a pancreas that is not working properly and has a legitimate disease from the medication that they need, just because you can't stop eating Oreos and skipping the gym because you're too tired from sitting at a desk all day. All right. Like, really take the time to think about it. It really is fucking pathetic. We've completely lost touch with reality, and this need for instant gratification has just consumed every single avenue of a lot of our lives. And so, other than robbing somebody of a medication that they need to survive, another big issue is that the people who resort to these types of tactics are people who are extremely undisciplined. I'm willing to bet that 8 out of 10 times that is the case. And you're someone who feels like you're entitled to results without actually doing the proper steps and setting pillars in place for you to be able to maintain this long term. This will result in you getting results, but the end product is not going to be exactly what you were picturing in your head. Again, if you're fat and undisciplined, you take GLP-1 medication and you eat the same exact slop that you've been eating your entire life, and you neglect your training in the gym and your step count every day and your cardio, next, you're going to want even more instant gratification, and you're going to push the dose up. I see this way too often. People are jumping doses every single month, trying to get to that max dose in hopes that it's going to help them lose the weight faster. And it will. You'll lose weight extremely fast. So fucking fast that you wouldn't believe. And the unfortunate downside to this is that you're going to lose a lot of muscle as well. So that physique that you pictured in your head ends up being not what you see in the mirror. And you're going to look like a character that Tim Burton created. You know, your face is going to be sucked in. You're going to look lethargic. You're not going to have any energy. You're going to have negative aura and be kind of like skinny fat. I'm sure you've seen people who have this type of build. The people on social media who may have sold you this idea are people whose nutrition is set in stone and they're disciplined and dialed the fuck in. They're also in the gym training extremely hard on building the physique they want. And maybe they're just using these as training wheels, or maybe they're not using it at all. They just want to prey on, again, people's need for instant results. So going back to what I said, when you lose a lot of muscle tissue on your body, when you're in starvation mode, your body is going to burn fat, but it's also going to burn lean tissue to use as energy. You're going to completely obliterate your metabolism. Your calorie budget that was once up here is now down here. And the only way that you're going to be able to maintain the body weight that you're at is by staying on this medication forever. I think of this like the GPS on your phone. It's going to get you to the destination and it's going to work every single time. However, if you don't learn how to actually navigate these roads on your own, you're going to be reliant on this stuff indefinitely. Now, I know I'm kind of popping off right now. Y'all might be thinking in your head, well, this guy, he hates the idea of this stuff and he's an advocate against it. That is not the case. These are just experiences that I've seen from a lot of people. I've also seen a bunch of people have amazing success with this stuff. And the only way that you're going to be able to make that happen is by overhauling your lifestyle, training properly, and eating a proper diet. Once you're doing all this, the medication can be used as training wheels just to kind of help ensure that you're not binging and that you're on this trajectory where you're getting results every single week and slowly losing the weight the way that you should be. So trust the vision, bro. You got to trust the vision. It's going to take time. Even on these medications, you want this to take time. It should not be something that's happening overnight. This needs to be depending on how overweight you are, 1 pound to maximum 2 pounds per week body fat loss. Anything more than that, you're losing too much weight, you're going to lose too much muscle, metabolism squashed, and now you're stuck and you're going to have to reverse diet back up. So if you're keeping this stuff at a low dose and you're doing everything properly, this can definitely help you get to your destination. And It will limit setbacks, but you have to know that when you get to your goal or you get closer to your goal, and if you decide to discontinue this medication, you're really going to be put to the test. And if you didn't set the foundation and you didn't change some of these habits and really focus on your nutrition and your training, you're going to fail and all that weight's going to come back on. I've seen this a million times. But even if you've just improved your habits 50%, in a maintenance phase, it's going to be a lot more easy to maintain and kind of make this more of a lifestyle thing as it is when you're on more of an aggressive weight loss cut. So yeah, literally zero judgment over here. If this is the way that you decide to go, that is completely up to you. It's your body. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just kind of laying out what I've seen from a lot of folks, and people who think this is going to be a short-term solution with zero downsides, you are very, very wrong. There is a lot of side effects from these peptides. Your energy is going to be low. Oftentimes, you're not going to be eating anywhere near the amount of food that you need to. And so energy is depleted. You're going to have headaches, lightheadedness. Your tummy is really, really going to hurt, especially a day, 2 days after injection. Maybe the nausea is going to be unbearable for some people. You won't even be able to eat a single bite of food. So your quality of life could be kind of miserable. And, if you're willing to do that for a skinnier, leaner physique, you're kind of missing the whole point of this. Being lean is supposed to make you feel good. When you're lean and you're eating properly and you're training, like, you look fucking awesome, but also your energy is through the roof. You're having all of the exact opposite effects that these medications will give you. And long-term side effects, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. This stuff has been regulated and has been approved, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a very new technology and new advancement. So who's to say in 10, 15, 20 years, who knows what type of side effects that we'll see later down the line. So yeah, to summarize, if you have type 2 diabetes, hop on immediately. Your life will change for the better in every way, shape, or form. If you don't, think twice about going this route. Try to make some lifestyle changes first. Try to lose a little bit of weight. Prove to yourself that you can have discipline and that you can do this on your own without any crutches. And if that's a route you decide to go later on, that's totally fine. Again, it's up to you. I'm not shitting on it. At heart, I am kind of an advocate for it. I just think a lot of people kind of go about this wrong and think this is going to be magic, which it's not. So I'm going to leave it there. New video coming in a couple of days, so be on the lookout. Until then, peace.